What is an ideal student that flourishes in this environment, and what is an ideal student that this college is looking for?
I think an ideal student here is somebody who's a go-getter, who will take up the opportunities that are given to you.
The professors we have are actually ones who are experts in those fields.
I went and typed Masters Union, and I was like, this is what I want to do.
What are the kind of people who should still aim to go abroad, and who are the kind of people who should stay in India and probably go to a new age college?
You know how we're just testing on the basis of you're academically this good, then you deserve this place that you're going to. But it's never like that, right?
I went through my admission process. I felt that they were looking at students who actually wanted to build something big. They were not just looking for jobs, but to build careers. I got the final admission letter from IIM Sirmaur, IIM Ranchi, IIM Amritsar, IIM Kozhikode, and IIFT.
I don't have some crazy startup idea, right? It was just about who I am as a person and why I want to join Masters Union genuinely.
I changed coaching about 3 times and I just did not fit in. It was just never my thing, right? I couldn't completely give up my other side of the life that I always enjoyed doing with competitions and everything.
Exactly 1 year ago, on 9th November 2024, we launched our first video of Cospire. And it was a roundtable just like this one. And that video got over 10,000 views and 800 watch hours. All of you told us that that's probably the best impactful video that we could have created. And because you all wanted it, we're creating a version 2 of that. In this video, as you all might know, that Masters Union has 3 courses now. We'll have Pradyum from PSM, which is a psychology and marketing course, Pranava from TBM, which is a technology business management course, and Divyam from DSAI, which is a data science and AI course, talk about what has their life been at Masters Union in the last 2 months of them coming on campus, and they'll give us insights into how is the academic life, how's the culture over here, and of course, if you stick for long enough, you'll find them talking about scholarships and what is an ideal student as well. Before we get in this, I'd love to know a little bit about yourself and how has your life been before coming to Masters Union?
So as a kid, I always enjoyed doing a lot of like extracurricular stuff, just, you know, guitar, basketball, sports, everything. Every class my mom could find to put me in and keep me occupied just to do that. And I'm like extremely grateful about all of that, of course. And just, you know, learning all of the skills. And then one day I got a laptop at a very young age, and so I started getting into programming and a lot of other stuff more, right? Just technical stuff. So I started doing robotics in about 7th grade, got into programming very much into about 10. So just like every other kid, I just thought, let's do JE. You know, IIT is the big dream for every BTech kid ever. Let's go all in on that. Yeah. So that I did in about 10th grade. I started doing, that was a COVID year, right? So it didn't matter as much because it was all online, right? So no hectic schedule. Then came 11th when I had to actually go to the you know, you go to the centers and everything. I changed coaching about 3 times and I just did not fit in. It was not because I was having like trouble studying or anything. It was just never my thing, right? I couldn't completely give up my other side of the life that I always enjoyed doing with competitions and everything, because it really asks you to be dedicated. Just sit and study for that 2-3 years, right? I couldn't do that. So this is me. So I talked to my friends, and one of my friends really opened the door for abroad for me. And they told me of the programs. And I was always constantly doing competitions and stuff. So that just sort of added to my portfolio. I never had to focus on making that because I was doing that on the side. So then I prepared for SET. I joined a consultant, like I got a consultant for abroad studies. And they gave me a list of few colleges. I got into a few programs. And I eventually decided on going to Rutgers University Honors College, mostly because I'm a scholarship, because, you know, like just affordability and all of those things. I spent an entire year there. I was doing a triple major in computer science, data science, and math. And I was like, people said, oh, you're killing yourself even there. But no, I absolutely enjoyed it. I did the most like fun things with trekking, at the same time maintaining my academics, never leaving my like, you know, hackathon side on the other thing. Then at the end of it, I sort of like, you know, realized that I do want to do something of my own, and I really wanted that freedom to myself to be able to work, and of course to be able to give back, right? Because I owed all to my parents and the place I live. So for that, I decided to come back. And I heard about MU actually from your podcast last year
Oh,
with the
wow.
course. So I saw Tanvi's
Was it
podcast.
the same video? Yeah, Tanvi was in it?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's exactly the same video.
Yeah, so I saw that. So, and plus she was in my batch, right? So I knew about a Masters Union from there. So I just got into it more. So I had this friend, and one day I told him, I'm coming back. Let's go to Masters Union. I knew him from way back when we were applying abroad. And he sends me his offer letter in 5 minutes. And he's like, I'm already going. And that just, I'm like, okay, let's go then. And well, I'm here.
Okay, very interesting.
So basically, what I did in high school, I was very into public policy and social change. So I ran a club of my own. We'd impacted a lot of students, and I worked with organizations for social change and gender equity. So I was very sure I was going to get into public policy. And all the courses that I applied to was in the social area, public policy, or international studies, or something like that. But I was like, you know what, let's apply to Masters Union. That's the only place I applied to in India. So I applied, and I was very surprised when I got the interview details and everything. I was not prepared for the interview. I just showed up. Yasho had, moderated my GD. I just showed up, and I was like, let me give this a try. So I went to the GD. It went surprisingly well. But what really convinced me, I was like, what made me consider Masters Union was the vibe in the GD itself. Like the people around me seemed very like-minded. I'm like, wow, maybe this is where I belong. Maybe this is a place. I did not consider India, but Masters Union made me consider like, oh, maybe India is a good place for college, And so I had initially, so when I was thinking of doing public policy, I realized that it would require a lot of theory and studying. But when I did CBSE, I quite did not enjoy studying all the theory and giving these exams like this. But when it came to Masters Union and how it's very like learning by doing, I'm like, this is what I like. And so very last minute, I changed my course here. I was like, I think this is where I belong. And I came here. Been here for 2 months. I love the classes. I enjoy the classes more than the extracurriculars that I'm doing here. This is definitely, and now I feel like this is definitely where I belong because of the learning by doing thing.
Yeah. Okay. So both of you wanted to go out of India. I think that's about like 30% of the people that come to Masters Union. You are the people who represent them. And yeah, I think you have a very different story. I already know it off camera because we also work together. But go ahead. What's your story?
So till 10th, I was someone who was very studious. I, was studying hard. But after 11th, the switch happened. So I focused after 11th more on extracurriculars. And so at that moment, Masters Union was introduced to me by a friend. His name is Dheer Goyal. He's my roommate as well now. I just went out of, I think, boredom or something. I went and typed Masters Union. And then came Masters Union. I went through the website and I was like, this is what I want to do. The learning by doing code comes the first. And I was like, yes, this is something that interests me because I am always someone who has, always wanted to, experience thing and do something and then, adapt out of it.
Okay, very interesting journey. I think just by listening to your introduction, it feels like you all have done a lot. Honestly, I don't relate to you because I did not do so much when I was in my school. But for the first year, the college has launched 3 different programs. And the 3 of you are from those different programs only. Can you help me understand why did you choose the specific program you chose?
So for me, I chose the psychology and marketing program, and it was one of the main reasons why I wanted to join Masters Union. Because since my 11th grade, I was clear that I want to be in management, and marketing was where I wanted to be in. Then pops out the course psychology and marketing, and I was fascinated by the fact that how beautifully they've related two thought of subjects that are very different, but yet at the core level they are together only. So I remember, telling one of my teachers at school about this, and he told me that it's one. No, I've heard it for the first time, but it is one of the most fantastic courses I've ever heard of. Because if you see, you need to pitch to a customer, you need to tell what you're building, but until and unless you understand what he thinks, how he thinks, you can't actually pitch it to them. So for me, that was the key factor that motivated me to take psychology and marketing.
Makes sense. And what does your day look like? As in, what do you do? As in, I know that all of you would like probably have classes 9 to 3. But I'm trying to understand: is there a difference in the kind of day you have when you are in different courses?
Okay, so my day starts again at the same time. We have 3 classes almost that are same, but how I believe is different because our course structure is different. So the prep for classes are different. So we have this amazing class of direct to customer, scaling direct to customer, and that is by Professor Pranay Roy sir. So he has been the marketing director at Nothing Before, and he has been a part of various wonderful campaigns that have run across India and abroad. So in that class itself, we are building on day one. We were grouped into teams, and we were asked to build problem and think of problems and build solutions to them.
Okay.
And so over the course and over the next 36 hours of the course time, we are actually building a D2C startup, and we'll be pitching it on the last session. So every class we're learning something new.
So you have to build the starter value in the class. As in
Yeah.
like the 24 sessions I'm understanding. Yeah, in the 24 sessions, your expectation is that you'll build a D2C startup.
Yes.
Oh,
So
wow.
just for context, on day one, we understood how to choose a domain. Some of us even bought the domain from GoDaddy, then came to build a website. Then we actually created AI generated ads for free, and we posted it on our Instagram accounts. We built Instagram accounts for our startups, and so it really allowed us to think from a perspective ki how does business work in real life. And so that is how the course in the day in my PSM looks like.
Okay.
So it's all about building. And even the best thing is that before coming to PSM, one fear we all had was that I hope it's not clinical psychology that we are taught. They've beautifully linked psychology to marketing. So even if you are studying something about humans and psych, it's about how it can be implicated in marketing. So for me, my day looks essentially is learning marketing every day, taking few steps every day.
Yeah.
That's my journey.
Yeah. Makes complete sense. Coming back to why did you choose TBM?
Yes. Again, as I've told before, I was very into public policy, right? And so when I got into commerce in 11th grade, I had this mindset that, okay, commerce is like super interesting. That's why I got into it. But by the end of 11th grade, I swore to myself, I am not doing business. Because I don't know what it was, but CBSE studies, commerce studies kind of made my brain numb to it. I did not want to pursue that further. Which is why I wanted to, okay, let's go into public policy, social studies and all of that, which I was interested in, and that is what I wanted to do. However, I think only when I saw the concept of Masters Union and I talked to a bunch of seniors on what TBM is, what do I learn in this?
Yeah.
And when they explained, and I specifically asked them, is this like how we studied in CBSE? Do we study a lot of theory and all of that? They confirmed that that is not what business is. That is not how business goes on, right? This is, we study something that's completely new and very practical based. And I was very intrigued by the course. I'm like, maybe I've loved business all along, just CBSE made me not like it. And I wanted to get back to that. I come from a business family background as well. So I was like, okay, so this seems perfect for me, and I got into TBM.
Yeah. Okay. You've been talking about your family business and your father in this when you were telling me about this. Just to understand, were your parents okay with your decision to come to a college that is a relatively new college?
So my parents were the ones who convinced me to come to Masters Union. And I've heard it's very different for a lot of other parents, because all of them were they had to convince their parents to let them come here. My dad first looked at the pamphlet, the brochure that they'd given in our school for an event, and he was like, you need to apply here. This is where you need to go. And so my parents, when the startup weekend email came, I was not planning to come initially.
For context, what is a startup weekend?
So a startup weekend is basically where all the admitted students come in, and in 2 days we basically pitch an entire startup, right? We create the entire thing. We are mentored by the seniors on how we can build a startup and pitch it to actual VCs. And just a fun fact, I won my startup weekend. My team won it. So it was very fun. So if it wasn't for my parents, I wouldn't have showed up. They booked the tickets. They were like, let's go see the campus.
Yeah.
You do this, and then we'll decide. And doing startup weekend made me feel like I really belong. And we had a class dinner as well, where I got to interact with all of the staff. They're really nice. So yeah, it was wonderful.
Was it the case with the both of you also? As in, were your parents willing to send you?
Most definitely. Since I was planning to come back, and my dad has always been into startups, business. He's very bullish on all of that. He's like, you want to leave college? Sure. Just build something, right? And I was like, I need a sort of environment where I can build. And masters, of course, the resources, the professors, of course, and the VCs, the pitch days, all of these things, and especially listening to Pratham sir or Swati ma'am, right? You listen to them, your mind it goes crazy, right? It's so cool. So all of that just really prompted them and me to kind of be very bullish on MU. this was the only option I saw. This was the only place I applied to while I thought of coming back, right? Although I hate the fact I missed out on startup weekend or the class dinners. I wanted to come so bad, right? Just to be able to meet these people. For me, DSI was a pretty obvious option. Like, although first I applied to TBM actually. I had my GD. That's where I found my roommate too. And very, very amazing GD. I absolutely enjoyed it. Then the interviews came. I met Utsav sir, and just listening to him since he's been such a big consultant too, right? So just talking to him about all that stuff, getting such valuable feedback. That was really cool. And then after that, I saw the DSAI course. I went over the brochure, all the cool courses that they had. And since I had studied those courses before, since I have some sort of like domain expertise about it, I saw how relevant they were to how the world is changing, right? Since these tools are going to come in, we're going to build chatbots, you have to learn machine learning, all these programming languages, like what's important? And I saw how closely that was related to it. And especially the people teaching us, like for every single course, right? The professors we have are actually ones who are experts in those fields. Like we have Divij Bajaj sir. He has been on a podcast with Sandeep Maheshwari sir. He works at Microsoft. We have Karan sir. He works at Walmart. He's the reason they have those product descriptions with AI. And Havish sir as well. Like I absolutely love his classes because he's running his own consultancy firm. He's doing so well. So me and my friend actually we were trying to get into renewable energy consulting tools. We're like, sir, this is the tool we built. Can you please give him some feedback on it? And we're still working on it with him, right? Like we just show it to him. They spend time with us after classes. Like I've spent time with David sir just discussing about, oh, this prompt came in. Like let's work on it, right? And it's so hands-on and practical. Like we've already started to learn about NA10, programming languages. Everyone just sort of fits into that environment together. Plus, since there had a lot of JE students and those things coming in, and I was very close to that environment, of course, for a year. So I related to that too. I had a few of my friends coming in as well. So all that really prompted me to go towards DSAI because that's the thing I've always loved, right? Just the art of building in tech. So that just pushed me towards that side. And as for a day in a life, like we have those classes, right? We have 3 classes. My most fun part is just like, after class when you go for break in Cyberpark, everyone's just socializing. And I absolutely love that part. And of course, course is being led by really, really awesome people. Like Nandini ma'am, I can't tell enough about her. We were thinking to get a NVIDIA Jetson for just a basic project. Like NVIDIA Jetson is very expensive. It's like a software development kit. It's for robotics. You use AI. It's like on computer. It's a very small board. It's about $250. They just ordered it for us ASAP. She texted me
They actually did?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It's
Oh,
on the
wow.
way from China right now.
Wait, really?
Just today we got to know that the Tesla suit that they ordered came in, and Tesla suit is really cool. It's like, it has live haptics. You can feel that stuff. You wear it. If you're playing a game, you can just feel where you're getting shot at. So all this tech is so cool, and I love the people who are leading this course more than that. Because just as how much we love this field, they love it too. And they're the ones who are pushing us constantly towards it. And there's nothing more supportive than that, especially when it comes to tech, right? Because right now you can think about so many negative things with job field and so much stuff. But when you have such people to look up to, it really gives you that confidence. And it's just been such an awesome journey to not only meet the people from my course, but from like TBM and PSM, because the collaboration is like actually insane. So that's pretty much like, how it's been.
I have a lot of questions about the course and specifically about your life at the course. Before that, because I know you will choose to be humble and not talk about your experiences at the US, but I know, and I'll tell the viewers as well, that I know you won multiple hackathons, you had a really good SAT score, you had a lot of things that were working well for you. Can you also, just out of my curiosity, help me understand why did you specifically leave US when everything was very settled over there?
Right. I think it's more about what I want to do in life as well, right? While all those things were kind of working out in my favor, of course, there's, not only me, but a lot of people who were with me. Because in the end, everything I've ever done in my life, right, I can always attach a person to it. Because, you're like, those people sort of make the experience for you, right? No matter what you do. And choosing MU really became obvious because I was going to find the sort of people I need to work towards my future goals, right? If I want to make a startup, if I want to make a business, right? Everyone I need to talk to, they say, you're the average of 5 people around you. So if I talk to the people who are interested in similar fields, I'm going to be the same way. Like my friends in the US, the 2 people I went to every hackathon with. I was like Snehansh and then Ray. And my friend, he was like in high school, right? And all of us just went to every hackathon every single weekend. And for 24 hours, it's no sleep. We are just moving around, drinking energy drinks, and we're just coding. And we're in the rush hour, we're having everything. And at one point, I just fell in love with how painful that was. But like, it was just so interesting to be a part of that journey, right? And being a part of such communities, talking to such people. And that, I think, talking to those people is what prompted me to come back as well, right? Because I realized that if I want to do something of my own, and I really wanted to come back and do it in India, especially because we're growing at such a good rate, right? I felt like if there's never a better time to do it, and that's why I wanted to come back. And then MU, there was no more obvious option than MU, right? So it's just like how you can say that those things are going well, but at the end you have to choose what's more important to you, right? Like for me, it's always just people. That's it.
So the journey you both have had, it's probably very relatable to a lot of people who are confused between going abroad to the States or Singapore or other places, and staying back in India to probably go to a new age college. Can we take some time to understand from your experience what are the kind of people who should still aim to go abroad? And of course, you can draw specific analogies if you want to. And who are the kind of people who should stay in India and probably go to a new age college like Masters Union?
Yeah, definitely. I think one of the reasons I chose India over abroad in the very end was it came down to how I wanted the next 4 years to look like. I think as high schoolers, we're not really taught how to look in the future, and they're like, this is your goal, so study some subject according to that, you'll go get a job after in that field. But it is not that simple when it comes down to it. You need to think about how you want the next 4 years to look like. And for me, I knew I did not want to study, memorize things, write an exam, pass, and then get a degree. That was not how I wanted to look like. And essentially, when it came to public policy, it had to do with a lot of theory. Even though it was social making on the side, I'd have to do a lot of that. And I was like, and one of the reasons I was not considering business during that time was because it did not seem very rewarding in all the other schools I'd looked into about business, or like, because the normal BBA did not seem very intriguing to me. And so the reason, again, at the end of the day, why I chose to do business was that I wanted to do something practical. And this course offered exactly that, and I came in here. But again, if you want to I feel like if anybody who wants to get into something scholarly, if you want to just increase your knowledge on a certain topic, of course, consider abroad, because they have, I would say they have better resources for something, then go there, definitely.
Okay, so my understanding, at least to summarize this, is saying that, of course, if there's a specialized course that you specifically want to do, and there's a university you can think of that's offering that specifically, that's something that you should consider. Given that you have your financials sorted and you're ready to take the risk of international current situations right now, and if you're okay to take that risk.
So actually, I have a question to ask both of them, because I've never understood why students from India want to go abroad and study. Like why? Like I'm someone who's never ever thought of going to abroad, and for me, the question was, yeah, if we have good Indian colleges, and then why are people going abroad?
I think the biggest problem has just been how our system is built. You know, how we're just testing on the basis of, okay, if you're academically this good, then you deserve this place that you're going to. But it's never like that, right? Like, there's a student in our batch actually in DSAI, his name is Shaur Rahman. He went to Z Fellows. He's from Alwar in Rajasthan. And he's like one of the most brilliant programmers that I know of, right? And imagine like you're having such skills, but then if in the end J is the reason you can't go to a good college, that's so not worth it, right? He had job offers from companies in like San Francisco. He was actually going there for an H1B unless, we know what happened. And even when I was there, the most attractive part for me was San Francisco, of course, because Silicon Valley, right? It's just the environment and the things you want out of your life that you get there. And how in India we let like some things define us that should not be the only key performance metrics for all of us, right? Because everyone is good at something or the other, and they're going to use those skills in whatever program they do. And that's why ME is perfect for that, because no matter what skill you have in either of the programs, people here are so hardworking and they're so like passionate about all those things. It actually amazes me what all they know about it, like so many things.
Okay, I think in the last 15 minutes we've gotten a fair idea of how do we think of colleges when it comes to staying in India or going abroad. Pradyum, while all of this was happening, you come from a relatively more traditional style of education, which means that you wanted to do IP Mat. I think you got in a few of the IIMs, right? Did you get in multiple IIMs?
So I got the final admission letter from IIM Sirmaur, but I had cleared the written tests for IIM Ranchi, IIM Amritsar, IIM Kozhikode, and yes,
Okay.
these three IIMs and IIF.
Yeah, so you had to essentially leave an IIM and come to Masters Union. While they said that their parents were convinced and they were the people who decided to let them go or wanted them to go, I am understanding your case was probably not similar.
Yes, I think it was a mix of both the cases. So my father was really happy that I am thinking of something innovative and non-conventional. But I remember my mother asking me, "Why do you want to go where it hasn't produced so much of good results till now?" And so I had only one thing in mind, and that is the beauty of Masters Union, that the entire people who are behind Masters Union are so available to us that we can reach out to them directly. So I remember my mother asking all the doubts she had to Swati ma'am herself at the class dinner that we had. And so that is when my mother was like, "Ha, you can go there." So I had to do a bit of convincing, and Swati ma'am also played a part in that. So that is how I got into Masters Union.
Yeah. So the three of you are in your first year, and it's very surprising to me as to how was your conversation with your parents about this. And why I've been coming back to this is because in my batch at least, Pratham sir, who's the founder of Masters Union, asked this question: that how many of you wanted to come to this college, and how many of your parents wanted you to go to this college? And honestly, almost 85 to 90% of the batch said that our parents did not want us to come to this college. Because, of course, we are the founding batch, so it's a new college, there's no credibility as such because it was the first year of undergrad. And I think then the college has done a pretty good job in convincing parents that it's a place that you can go to. Okay. So it's been we'll talk more about what your life has been over here now. Do you want to talk about what has the culture here been? Talk about a few interfrats if you want to. Talk about what frats are actually, and give us some understanding in terms of that.
I think frat is just family.
Okay, what is a frat?
Is this like, a group of people who they put like for example, we have 4 frats, right? Like Netflix, Amazon, Google, and Meta. Yeah. So it's just like grouping these people together, putting them in a room and telling them that, okay, you're a family now, and you're going to do everything together. And that's exactly how I felt at Netflix. Like, frat culture, like, MU is insane. And how close everyone is to each other. Like, when cricket, like, that's the biggest festival I've ever seen.
Festival?
Yeah, I would definitely call it a festival. You see everyone calling each other, banging into dorms at like 2 a.m. in the night, and they're screaming into each other's ears, "Tomorrow is interfrat, we have a match, you have to come." Okay. And everyone shows up. Putting that, like, they're writing Netflix on their arms, their foreheads, they're painting it, ordering smoke. I don't know what all they did. But, when you win, you win together. When you lose together. Yeah. And you celebrate those tiny things together no matter what happens. And you know that it's a lot of like, you just get that feeling of a family. Like, I can call this a person up if I'm not feeling well, and they'll pick up and they'll be there.
To add on it, I believe frat is where we can all share our thoughts and experiences openly. So I remember on the 4th day of our orientation week, we had this frat lunch. And we remember the seniors asking us about what our interests are, something unique about us. Then we were jamming to some songs. So it naturally allowed us to express ourselves somewhere out of the intense academic life. So firstly, it is a place there. Then secondly, talking about the interfrat competitions, I can relate to it. I was the bowler who was hit for the final run in the finals. I was the bowler.
Yeah.
So I remember, with all the dhols and everything coming in, it's truly, truly amazing. So for me, this was the first time where I actually saw things happening. Students were there up till late to witness who will win. They would have easily got the result on their phone, but they were there supporting their frats. And that showed that for Masters Union, frat is something like that's amazing. Like, I don't have good words to present it, but it's the feeling that's truly, truly amazing to be a part of.
Definitely. I was going to talk about frat launches as well. I'm in Amazon. Shout out to Amazon.
Amazon.
Oh, both of them from Amazon?
Yeah.
I'm from Google,
You can
and
try.
you know.
Amazon.
I'm sad there's no meta rep here, but yeah, Amazon is wonderful. So when I went to my first frat lunch, I was sick. I was sick that day, so I was not feeling very like collaborative there. But the seniors gave us a sense of belonging. I remember, I believe it was Dhruv. He said, you know, anything happens, it doesn't matter how you're contributing to Amazon, just show up for the events. Like, there were a lot of representatives from our seniors in the frat lunch, and they said half of these people don't even know a proper skill. Like, you won't find them like dancing for the frat, you won't find them in any interfrat competitions. They'll just show up and be supporting on the side. And they kept emphasizing on how they will be our family here and how they are the seniors we could ask anything to. And that really gives us a sense of belonging here. It's wonderful.
And the sweat they put in for each interfrat, because I was a part of the cricket team, so we were practicing for almost 2.5 weeks before the matches. And you know, every second day the seniors coming in, they had their examinations, they had their presentations, but making out those 2 to 3 hours every day or every alternative day to come and practice, to sweat it all out, like that shows that what fraternities and this means to masters union and the students here. So that's genuinely amazing.
I see how passionate the three of you are for your own frats.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that that's like a great experience to have. See, honestly, of course I can relate to it, but when I was in my first year, the concept of frat, Swati ma'am used to say that you're going to die for your frat. And none of us actually related to it, but I see it 2 years later now that you're all really serious about it. Okay, we've talked about how frats work, and we've talked about how academics work over here. Are there more things? I'm sure there are a few workshops you would have probably gained something out of. There would be some sessions that you would remember. Do you want to tell us what has those experiences been for you?
I would like to start with one of our classes in the art of communication, and our assignment was to give a speech in front of everybody. And there were a lot of people in class, including me, who were very nervous about it, because in the art of communication, we had 3 classes just about how you present yourself, like one about your pitch, your volume, your body language and everything. So you would be analyzing every single part of yourself when you're giving the speech, and it's graded, right? So everybody was so nervous about it. I was nervous about it. But when we got up on stage, a bunch of my friends did too. Like, when everybody got up on stage and we actually gave the presentation, I wouldn't say we scored very well, because there's obviously a lot we could improve, right? And when we did public speaking in school, we never really thought about all of the different aspects that go into it. But when we analyzed every single thing and we were supposed to present ourselves from what we've learned, it was a great learning experience. Mine, I messed up in the middle. My friends did too. However, it was a huge learning experience. And when I did public speaking later, now I did helped host a startup weekend that came up this week. So in that, when I had to do a bit of public speaking, that really helped. So all of these type of experiences here, I enjoy.
I think in our first orientation week, actually, we had one of like the biggest content creators in India. Everyone like knows her from the Zomato channel, like Sahiba Bali. She came in, and just knowing her journey as like gone from content creation to acting and so many different things that she has dabbled in. It was so cool to listen to that, right? It was being hosted by Swati ma'am as well, and just seeing all the smart questions that were being asked, and to be able to hear about her own experiences teaches you so much. But one thing I cannot forget, and I wasn't even supposed to attend it, the VVIP introduction that was taken by Pratham sir. I was there for the entire hour, and that was the best thing I ever listened to.
You attended our VIP
Yeah,
thing?
I attended the UG27 VIP.
Yeah.
I was just sitting there, and I could see some person beside me. I was like, I don't know if they they even want me here, but I'm just gonna listen to it regardless. And just seeing his journey, tell him about how, okay, this is how you scope out your problem. These are 8 things you focus on. These are the 20 things you should most definitely do and get into. I have the entire thing recorded on my phone. I listened to it. I go after it. I transcribed it. That was the best thing I ever listened to. And it taught me how I can how actually I can build out a problem for my startup, how I can do that. And we also had a session, I was hosted by Pratham sir actually. It was with the former chairman and CEO of Indian Oil. And it was Mr. Neil as well. He worked with Nivea for marketing. And just listening to both of them, right? Like, Indian Oil is like one of the Fortune 100, 500 companies, right? Largest revenues that we have ever seen. So you have so many masters on board, like CXOs. You have Pratham, so you have Swati ma'am. You have these amazing people coming in just to talk to you for an hour, like for masterclasses. the lessons they leave us with are some things that, you know, you don't have to like make yourself remember. It just like stays within you, just sticks automatically. So that's been the best parts about college so far, actually.
And moreover, we have people from different realms of life coming in. So for example, we had Mr. Jatin Seni, who is the founder of House of Creators. They cater to personal branding. Then we have Mr. Venkata Ralapalli sir coming in. He is the brand manager of Nestle. And then we have Chinmay sir coming in, who teaches Excel for us. So we have master classes of different types. So that allows a holistic development of us. So we learned about how to upgrade our profiles in LinkedIn. We've studied how to make Excel and utilize it fully. Then we had about brand management from a person like Venkata sir, who handled the crisis in 2015 when the Maggie crisis actually happened. So these things have allowed me, and I think all of us, to understand things from different perspectives, and that'll definitely help us as we go forward in our lives. That's what I felt.
If I could add one thing I'm excited about is definitely Outclass. The amount of stories I've heard from seniors, like the
Yeah.
amount of sleepless nights they've had and the roller coaster it is, just seems very cool. And we had gone to the PGP showcase. Like most of the UG29 students showed up for the PGP drop shipping mela. And we were hearing, a lot of us were interested in how it went for them. So we were asking like, how is everything going for you? How did you come to this place and everything? The amount of, changes that they'd made, they wanted to do an entirely separate business, and then they'd changed tracks completely last minute, and this just showed up to the dropshipping mela. A lot of crazy stories went into it, so I'm really excited for those 3 months. Yeah.
In fact, this channel and all of this was built out of our Outclass content creation challenge. So course was built out of that.
I did not know. That's very cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That's actually quite interesting. Pradyum, I've been thinking about this, that for most of the people will not know this, but PSM is the smallest cohort. It's probably like 23 people.
Yeah, 20.
And both the other cohorts are bigger than this. Plus, it's a psychology and marketing course in a business school. Do you think that you're missing out on something that probably they both are getting?
I think I am fulfilled as the TBM and the DSAI folks, because they've been attending our classes regularly, come what may, on one class or the other. So I think this question shall be asked to the TBM and DSAI folks.
What do you mean people are coming to your classes? Like this guy just showed up to my class today. He was sitting in my TBM class. I think DSAI folks are missing
I
out.
absolutely love the flexibility, right? In the first week, I was like, I have heard so much about Bhupesh, I want to go.
Yeah.
So at first 2 marketing classes, I just went, I sat in the class. And I was smiling the entire time. My friends were like, oh, you're just smiling, like, you ran to in a random class and you're just smiling. Then I did Nandini ma'am's class and everything. I absolutely love that, because any course that I want to learn, you just randomly go sit and what's there.
How he conveniently just changed the topic from himself to, I like the flexibility to attend all the classes.
Definitely not missing out on anything.
No.
But I like the fact that students have been allowed to switch courses. For example, 3 people almost now, it's, I think as we speak the process is being continued. 3 people will have now shifted from TBM to PSM, and more frequently a lot of them are attending the PSM classes. Be it anytime they get a free class, they're not sitting outside or chilling, but they're actually attending classes that are happening. So that is something that we're really proud of as a PSM cohort. We say that we have that unity and people want to see how it goes. So that is amazing, and we are actually very, very satisfied. And being the founding cohort, we've been also allowed, we've been given certain help in the form that whatever we've asked for, we are given. So for example, we asked for a Canva Pro subscription,
Yeah.
and because we need it for editing and creative work, we were given it in a few days time. The PSM batch.
Yeah, all of the PSM people.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
What?
I'm very jealous
Wait,
of
that's
that.
so-
You
No
don't
way.
speak, you were like some whatever
No, somebody
250 or
did.
2.5K dollar thing.
Why do I feel like I'm very underpampered right now? They both got something.
That's actually true, right? And then when I was part of the first founding cohort of TBM. So we were also
Yeah, so we were pampered in that way, and we enjoy that. If we ask for any additions to any course in any semester or any point of view, they're listening to us, in a first-hand thing, and they're making the changes happen as soon as it can be. So that has been an amazing thing for, I think it will be the same for DSAI and PSM.
It has been,
Can
yeah.
I just add something? Like this PSM folks are getting really good at marketing. They have made us feel so much FOMO that they're making so many, you will find so many TBM students sitting in PSM classes. We
and
have
you're
like a system where
250
we can.
and they're like 23.
Yeah.
Okay.
To understand
10%
psychology,
of
do
us,
that.
and that's psychology and that's happening. But there's this like we have a system where we can sign up for whatever classes you want to go to in PSM. So they'll check if you have empty seats for that and they'll let us go. So a lot of us, the TBM folks, have been going there.
Yeah, leave all that. They were more jealous because we had a consulting case competition. You know, the consulting curriculum organizer is a case comp. It happened just yesterday. I was the only DSAI kid there. My team won. I defeated all TBM.
Yeah, they were
Basically, through this answer, he wanted to realize that he won
he
something.
won the thing.
Yeah,
I thought he would be too humble to mention. I was going to mention it, but yeah, good that he mentioned.
Okay, for the last 40 minutes, you've been talking very positively about Masters Union. Help me understand what you not like. I'm sure, see, at least with PSM and DSAI, I'm sure there are things that are new and there are things that the college is also figuring out. I'm sure there are a lot for you also. Help me understand what are you not liking in the college right now.
Speaking on the academic part, initially we thought that the neuroscience course that we had was a bit more heavy and biological instead of being related to completely marketing. And we raised that concern, and we had the town hall with Swati ma'am. She came in, she made us realize the importance of some theory in that, and we actually the course was toned down and made more relatable to marketing. So that is one thing that we initially disliked, and then it was changed. Second thing, I believe that I have not faced a problem with, but is that the masters union life is hectic. So every day you have after the classes something or the other thing to do. So you won't get a lot of time to just relax. So for the previous 2 weeks we were prepping for cricket. Now this week we have our competitions, our midsems are lined up. So every week, every day you have something to look up to, and that sometimes makes ki we are in a corporate life of 9 to 5 or 9 to 7 and it's hectic. So that can be sometimes bit irritating, but yeah, these are the things that I've faced.
So they're taking feedback, but there are a few things
They
that are
definitely
still to be
do. Yeah,
figured
yeah.
out. Got it. Also, I have one more thing to understand from you. We made this video, which was an all-women podcast, where we had 4 people who are very close
I
friends of
remember
mine as
that.
well. And especially what I've been understanding, at least, there are a lot of people who come from the southern part of India, have this conception or have questions about general safety. Is it inclusive enough? Can you help me understand how's it been?
Definitely. Actually, one of the reasons that convinced my mom was a little skeptical that I was going to Gurgaon, right? Delhi and all of that. But we watched the video, we watched the all women
actually
roundtable,
watched it?
and that
Oh,
that convinced my family. Not only my mom, like my grandparents, all of them as well. It convinced them. So it was definitely helpful. But coming here, I realized how true what they said on the podcast was. So Gurgaon itself is the place we are in is a very posh and like it's a very like cyber hub place, right? Everything is corporates around us. So it's a very posh place. So anywhere you go at night, it shouldn't be that big of a deal. It's not unsafe as they portray it per se, because I've had a good experience here so far and I'm able to explore it well. Sometimes I even go alone and I wouldn't be very scared. But again, I take like caution, like there are 5 people have my live location at all times, right? Like my parents always have it. So that caution is there, but again, I'm not scared to step out on my own. I'm not scared to go out with my girlfriends, like friends who are girls. Alone with the girls, I'm not scared of that. So it's been, but again, it was a conception for us too. I'm from Tamil Nadu. So it was, a lot of my friends also were scared that I was going to Delhi. However, it has not been like how they've portrayed it. It's been a really good experience so far.
Yeah, it's been 50 minutes of us talking right now, 40 to 50 minutes of us talking right now. Somebody who's been watching till now is probably a very high intent person. And because they've chosen to watch and listen to all of us, do you think that we should do some help in terms of just taking them through understanding what is an ideal student that flourishes in this environment and what is an ideal student that this college is looking for? If you can all give, and you've been 2 months into the college, right? You know what are the kind of students who are doing a good job over here. If you can take just 2 minutes to explain as to what are traits in those people who are doing a really good job over here, so that the people probably watching it right now can start imbibing that.
I think since the beginning, one thing I've mentioned is the people, right? And that's something that has worked for me really well. For example, the first day when the frat lunch actually happened, I met Arya Prancho. He's in 27 batch only, right? We were just talking. Then I texted him. He texted me, and we just met up for coffee. Now we're working on a project. So just being able to talk to people. For example, I just love sitting in Tare and talking to all the PGB folks. For example, I met the founder of Saha, Jayashree Didi. And now it's so fun to talk to her. She helped me out so much that I got to connect with Akshat, who's like the founder of Critique. They're doing some really awesome work in Web3, right? And they're based in Dubai right now. And I'm getting the opportunity. Like, he sent me books that I have to read. I might get the opportunity to work with. So it's just exciting how you can make so many connections. I think one of the most important qualities for a student, right, for an ideal student would be their ability to go approach people and actively network and making those meaningful connections, because eventually you'll get to use them. Like somewhere or the other, they'll come in handy eventually. And number two would be not being afraid to work hard when it's required. Because eventually there'll come a point, like, you know, how he mentioned that there's going to be like 9 to 5 hectic life, right? You should be afraid to put in those sleepless nights when it's required. Of course, that's not going to be every day, but when it's required, you should be able to do that.
For me, an ideal student would be somebody who's really, really excited to learn, because there's a lot of insight to take in from the professors here and from your peers itself, your seniors and everybody, if you are willing to take that information and process it and use it to the best of your abilities. So somebody who's really excited to learn would thrive at Masters Union, and also somebody who's a go-getter, who takes up the opportunities you're given. On an average, we get at least 10 to 15 mails every day with so many different opportunities, right? So it's up to you on how you use this and how you take up these opportunities.
So 10 to 15 non-academic mails, like
non-academic,
you have a
exactly.
class and all.
Yeah, fully non-academic opportunities mails.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's the person who flourishes the most when you come to Masters Union. Before you come to Masters Union, let's say if it's a 11th grader or 12th grader watching it, can you help me understand what is the admissions committee looking for when they have to select a student?
I believe that, okay, we're talking about communication, you need to communicate well, you need to network, but it's okay if you're not very, very good at it.
Okay.
But at least if, you're someone who wants something new, if you're done with the traditional Indian education system, who's just, making you rote learn theory, and you want actual experience.
Yeah.
And if you're someone who actually wants that, and not just for being cool, but actually wanting that, so then I believe you're a perfect fit for the admissions committee.
Yeah.
Because what I went through my admission process, I felt that they were looking at students who actually wanted to build something big.
Yeah.
They were not just looking for jobs, but to build careers. And that is where I believe if you are there, you're a right fit.
Okay. Which means that you, of course, you have to be good at communication is a good to have. But if you can in some way tangibly show the admissions committee that you are somebody who cares about practical learning and learning by doing, and you've demonstrated those things in your past experiences in life, that'll probably really convince the admissions committee. Yeah.
If I could add on to that, I would just say what the admission committees the committee is looking for is somebody who is ready to step out of their comfort zone, right? Because like Masters Union is the last thing from a traditional college. We're very out of the norm, which is a great thing. But you should be willing to step out of your comfort zone to really hone in and embrace the process of how learning works here.
So I think the admissions process is actually very holistic, because it looks at every aspect of you, and then it values all of them equally, right? So if you just carelessly let even one of them like get away from the grip of your hand, that's going to affect your application admission, of course, right? In any of the rounds that you go to.
So you need to put in effort. Just for context of somebody who might not know, can you also explain the admissions process?
Yeah, sure. I think the first step that you go through in your application process, it's important, of course, is you're just like, it's just this basic form that you have to fill out. It's your information, grades, some information about you, what you have done so far, some pointers about you, scales and everything. After that, the next very important aspect of it is the video essay. Okay. Even if you're not crazy good at like how to edit and everything, you have to put some effort into it, why you want to be a part of this community, why this college, right? And after that, you get a link for an aptitude test. They send you the prep materials and everything for that, and it makes you ready for it, so you don't have to worry about it at all. And it's a very you just have to be calm and appear for that test, and on the basis of that, you'll get the next step, scholarship and everything.
Yeah, got it. So that's for data science and AI. So you stop at the aptitude test. What about PSM and TBM?
So we actually, after the aptitude test, we are shortlisted for a group discussion and a personal interview round that is held at different places across the country. For me, it was held at the Masters Union campus only. And we were given a topic on group discussion, a few days prior. And then we need to deliberate upon it for around 20 to 30 minutes and present a solution.
Got it.
So followed by that, we have an interview. So what I learned from those process was that in a group discussion, no matter how much you speak, if your content is really good and you have good points, you can ace well. And similarly, for the personal interview, you need to present why you're a suitable candidate to Masters Union, and not just brag about your achievements, but how you can actually relate it to real life world scenarios that Masters Union presents.
Yeah. I'm sure somebody watching this video would want to know more about what are the kind of hacks or tricks you can use to probably get more scholarship, get a higher chance of admission. And while we as COSPAR have made videos on all of them, you can check it out. There are videos on video essay, group discussion, personal interview, aptitude, and application. Would want to know how you probably did in your application and video essay and then aptitude that got you over here finally.
So what I did in my application was that the application form at that time allowed only a few achievements. So one thing that I had a discussion with my admission counselor, I mailed a lot of my achievements to Masters Unions to ensure that a holistic portfolio is presented to them. And one thing for the video video essay that I learned from my experience was that it's not important that you go into crazy editing or stuff like presenting sounds, this and that. But for 2 minutes, if you present yourself in a way that implies that you're a suitable candidate, it can do the work for you. Because I am not someone who's really into editing and music and sound and stuff. But my video essay and my admission counselor, my person who took my interview, appreciated me for the fact that the way I presented my case, it made it more relatable and engaging for them as well. So that is something that I learned through my way.
So there needs to be effort when you're filling application and video essay
Video
and
essay.
everything, and then it needs to be authentic. So if you're
Authentic.
not somebody who's being authentic and telling honestly whatever you've done, then you're probably making admissions committee's job harder to assess you, because then there's no way for them to assess. And I like how we've been able to holistically cover so many things, from why did you come to this college, what has your cultural life been, how has interfrat been a big thing for you, and academy, how you're learning these very random courses, how Divyam goes and sits in all your classes. It's been a really good experience. Thank you so much for coming. I'm sure for the viewers also, it's been a great experience listening to you. And I am assuming that a lot of them will probably be your juniors and come and tell them, oh, that podcast really made a difference.
I mean, it's been a very great pleasure to be a part of this podcast, and I remember from my time, your podcast actually helped me, right? So I hope this can be of help to students too. So yeah, thank you for inviting me.
Same. It's been such a pleasure to be here. It feels again like a full circle moment from seeing the all girls roundtable to being here. Such a great pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Long journey from seeing the podcast first roundtable to visualizing myself being there and to today be actually there. Lovely journey, and thank you so much for the experience.
Thank you so much. For people, if you have any questions, of course, we'd love to take them. There's a WhatsApp community we run, which is almost 300 members for this year and probably was 700-800 last year. If you want to connect to any of them or anybody from COSPAR, the link is in the description. Please join that WhatsApp community and we'd love to talk to you further. Thank you so much for watching.